Yesterday, I was on my TikTok live and I spoke to an incredible woman, and she told me something that kept me awake this night, and it is, how was I conceived? One thing that I know is that my father, Michael Jackson, knew 100% that when I was born, I was his. He told me an extraordinary story that I found out yesterday. He was lying. He was absolutely lying, my father. In 1983, my father told me that when I was born, he did a DNA test. And the DNA test shows that I was his. And that he was the lucky one, that I belonged to him. But yesterday I spoke to an amazing woman. She said in 1975, there were not DNA tests already there as we know it today. So I was like, oh, gee, oh my God. I mean, there are more things that my father, Michael Jackson, have lied about. So I was like, how did he know that I was his baby? How did he know? In my head was like, did he had a long-term sexual relationship with my mother, who was 17 years older than him? And then that was for me almost impossible to imagine that he would have that, because my mother was an older woman. And if I put everything together, since the day I was born, my father really hated my mom. He hated her. Only aggressive through my mother. He couldn't stand her. So he was always frustrated by her. So I was like, no, that's not it. That cannot be it. Because if you love someone, you never are so angry always. So my conclusion, I stay with my conclusion, that my mother was inappropriate. I really believe that the way I was conceived, that one night, one night my mom must have been drunk, and that she come on to my father, Michael Jackson. And she did the deed with him, force him to it. You know, people say always that it's always the man forcing themselves to the girl. But I know that there are women in the world who do exactly the same thing. My mom did something to him. And then I think she regretted. And then I believe she found out she was pregnant. Because my mother was in love with another man. How do I know? Because when I was born, I received an eye illness because there was sexual illness with that other man. So when I was born and I come from the wound, the bacteria infect my eyes. So they had to start treatment straight away so that I would not become blind. I know that my father wasn't a prostitute or a player. So I know that my father wasn't that. And it also makes sense that after when I was born, my mother became pregnant straight away from another man. She had this baby premature. So I was born in November 1975. Let's put them counting on that. And then my sister Aliana was born premature within 6 months. So she lay in a hospital for months, and she has a different father than me. So my mother had intercourse with another man while being pregnant with me, Michael Jackson child. So I think he had a lot of problem with that. I think that play up with his mind. So after when I was born, they both know for sure that Michael Jackson was my father. So I was claimed by my father. And of course, as a baby, I look exactly like my father, Michael Jackson, when he was a baby. So there was no doubt I belong to him. I still belong to him. I will always belong to him. He's my dad. But the shocking revelation is making a calculation kept me awake. I was like, oh gee, oh my God. Because my father, he didn't make a woman pregnant like that. He was very careful. So my heart goes out to him about the suffering that he had to endure as a young man. But in the same time, I'm so brave that he demands to have his baby, to have me. And it explains so much to me throughout of my childhood. I'm so shocked that just one revelation can make me see the picture of the untold story that my father never gonna have a chance to tell me or explain it to me because he's no longer alive. And my mother's reaction in 2010 when I came to the world media, my mother said at LTL Boulevard, I don't know Michael Jackson. I don't know that man. So he was the last thing that she wanted to be associated with. And I look at my mom and I was like, you are a terrible woman for doing that way. But I was like, of course, you do not want to explain that one night you were drunk and you abused Michael Jackson. And her reaction, the way that she sacrificed me totally in the most unpleasant way. So if you Google my name, Mrs. Barbara Jane Lee, you will see the interview at the Boulevard where she say, no, Michael Jackson, I don't know him. I never met him. While she works in the office, while she was the secretary of Berry Gordy of Motown Records, my parents met each other by Berry Gordy in Motown Records, where my mother was the secretary of Berry Gordy. This is where she met Michael Jackson. So my father, Michael Jackson, was 8 years old and she was 17. And then she married another man. With that man, she had 2 children. And somewhere between the divorce, she had me. After the divorce, she was time alone. She met me. And then she met Edward Beverly, where she had my sister Aliana with, who was premature baby. I mean, if LTL Boulevard, the media would have done some investigation, they will make the calculation that my mother, Barbara Jane Ross Lee, the sister of Diana Ross, was lying like hell to the world about not knowing Michael Jackson. If you go through other Diana Ross interviews, Diana Ross make it clear, oh, Michael Jackson is a part of my family. Everyone knows Michael Jackson. So if everyone knows Michael Jackson, how is it possible that my mother, Barbara Jane Ross, did not know Michael Jackson? And then the second thing is, how did my mother become a millionaire? So somehow the way Michael Jackson paid her off to give it to give her to me. So my mother is millionaire, people. My mother is a wealthy woman. She has more than $200 million. She did not make that money with only being a doctor and doing speeches. So someone have paid her some of the money. So yes, this is the part. So to my mom, if you are listening to this tape, I'm really investigating you because you're not talking. I will find the answers. Because I'm not stupid. So yesterday, I really had a bad night's sleep. I'm preparing myself to go to court. I will be in court today. But I didn't sleep well. But I really wanted to make this video. Said, OG. So my father was molested. He was molested. And my mother was shocked that she became pregnant of that one time. She touched that sexy young 16 years old. And she knew she wasn't going to jail for it because she was living in Michigan. And Michigan allowed older women to have intercourse with younger boys. Especially my father wasn't a real young boy. He was already in his mindset a man. So I was like, how did my mom steal me from my dad? And we have to blame God, of course. We have to blame God because I'm a gift of life. So it's not only, so let's say God planned it just one time. So I think my father, Michael Jackson, conceived me in one time. In one time that a woman took advantage of him. And the one thing that I will never know is when, who, and what, then only February. I only know I was conceived in February, born in November, if I have to believe my calculation of my happy birthday. Everyone in the family said to me, it's true. I was born in November. And I would never know the details. Because my father's dead and my mom is not talking. Who's Michael Jackson? Who? I've never met Michael Jackson. While Janet Jackson. While Diana Ross's sister claimed to be Michael Jackson's best friend, and that Michael Jackson have always been part of the family. So this is really going on. Yesterday, revelation that my father's story of 1983 did not make any sense. Whoa, it made me feel sick. It made me feel good, and it made me feel sick. And I need to go and get that recording on my TikTok live. He's such a liar. But anyway, it's my dad. I love him very much. And to a lot of people, don't come to my life and call my life a bullshit, because I will remove you. I'm a real person. And I am the daughter of Michael Jackson. I will always be the daughter of Michael Jackson. So I will find out. The truth. You watch me. I'll find out everything.